we have this foreign policy establishment that manages the American empire that saw internet censorship as kind of an El Dorado key to permanently winning the soft power influence game around the world. And what I mean by that is, okay, so you know how in a lot of people talk about the early CIA activity in the media with things like Operation Mockingbird and whatnot, and the ability to sort of propagandize things in the media. Well, you never had this capacity in the 1950s while that was going on. If you and I were at dinner, Thanksgiving or something, and there's 12 people at the table, and I start talking to you about, I don't know, the COVID vaccines may have adverse side effects. There was never an ability to simply reach under the table as an intelligence agency or as the Department of Homeland Security or as the Pentagon or the State Department and just turn off the volume when we talk to each other peer to peer. But since the lion's share of all communication is digital, especially the politically impactful ones, that capacity now allows our blob, our foreign policy establishment, to effectively control every election, or at least tilt every election around the world. And they've sprawled this into 140 countries. And Trump is going to run into every single regional desk at the State Department, every single equity at the Pentagon, arguing that if you do not allow us to continue this censorship work, it will undermine national security because it will allow Russian favored narratives to win the day in the Ivory Coast, in Chad, in Niger, and Brazil, and Venezuela, and Central and Eastern Europe. You're going to have the State Department argue that if we don't have this counter misinformation capacity, then extremists will win elections around the world, or populists will win the election around the world. And that will undermine the power of our democratic institutions, essentially our programming, our assets in the region. And they've built this enormous capacity. We use it because it works, because it wins. And the fact is Trump probably only won this election because, for the same reason, he probably only won the 2016 election, which was, in both cases, there was largely a free internet. It was when Trump got censored into oblivion in 2020 by the U.S. government under his nose, working with webs of outside NGOs and Pentagon front groups to mass censor virtually every narrative that he was putting out, that he lost. So it does work to win elections. And there's a regional desk at the State Department covering every country on earth. Victoria Nuland, had a desk that covered about 20 countries. So every country, the State Department is a preferred winner of that election. We work with all political parties. And that's a hugely powerful tool to lose. It's just twisted and evil, and it needs to. And we need to win. I don't want to say fair fights, but dipping into this sort of dark sorcery power has, not only does it crush the First Amendment entirely, but the diplomatic blowback is just absolutely enormous. I can go through examples of that if you're interested.
Greetings, everybody. Una, welcome. Good morning to you guys. I hope you guys can hear it for yourselves. For those of us that are always sitting on the sidelines and saying, oh, Africa should get it right, Nigeria should get it right, and I don't hear. So I hope that the people that voted the disaster called Buhari in the first place, I hope they are happy with themselves. Because whether they like it or not, consciously or unconsciously, they were actually used to remove Jonathan from office. Because I remember hearing these things and I kept wondering to myself, how is that even possible? But you can hear it for yourself now. These people strategically, right, go about doing regime changes using NGOs. Like you said, the people who, oh, I would like to work for you, said, you don't even know that they are working against you. I hope that Nigerians begin to get the sense that is needed to understand that, look, this fight is, we are on our own and we have to get it right. I've said it before, we only have 4 years window Because once Trump is over in 4 years, he only has 4 years, and that's it. He can't do more than 4 years. Omo, if the Africans don't get it right within that 4 years, Otilo, because you see this huge machine is gonna come back because you don't know who's gonna win the next election. This is why, personally, I supported Donald Trump because of this thing that this man is talking about. This is the only reason why, no other reason. I could care less about every other thing, right? You can come at me, I don't care, but I have my reason. The consequences for election. These people are steady changing regimes in countries. Imagine putting somebody like Ebola Tinubu in the greatest, blackest nation in the world to run its economy. Look at what is going on in Nigeria. Look at what's going on everywhere. Everywhere you turn is mayhem, is disaster. Hmm? Now they're trying to do emergency cleanup. Oh, so how many students got loan? Now they found out that out of the 104 million that they said they put out for loans, only how many people, how many students received it? Only 20 something million was disbursed. Where is the remaining balance? Who will come and account for it? Eh? Every corner you turn, look at what is going on with the West. They're trying to force ram Islamization down the throat of the West, right? You can call it political all you want, but that's an agenda for them because if they're able to suppress the people, they can continue to do what they are doing. If people are talking about election, fine. Nobody wants to go out and put themselves out there, fine. There are other ways of doing it, okay. So what other ways are there? Because this is not going to end anytime soon. If nobody is angry, every African ought to be angry about this. The reason why they keep pushing you, keep traveling to all these foreign countries to go and make a decent living is because they keep allowing the worst of us to be presidents in our countries. You don't have peace in your home. It's as a result of all this nonsense. What did Buhari achieve in 8 years? Buhari single-handedly brought down that country completely, rammed through it, brought Nigeria to its knees. And then you hear people come out and be trying to whitewash Buhari. Una don't hear am now from the horse's lips. Una don't hear am now. These are things that we should be talking about. No, people instead will be focusing on issues that don't matter. This is the reason why you are suffering, why you keep running from your country. You are looking for one island to go and buy a house, go and live quietly. Nowhere is safe for you as a black man. Nowhere in this world but your country. If you don't get it right, everybody needs to know how to wear their big boy, put on their big boy pants now. You only have freaking 4 years to get it right. After 4 years, it is gone. And you have the diasporans. Some of these diasporans are the worst I've ever seen. You hear them arguing nonsense and stupid, dumb ass things. You clearly see what is wrong. Instead of focusing on the goal, which is getting the country right, in the right direction, so that we can begin to fix the things. No, instead, they're engaging in things that don't make any sense at all. You've heard it now clearly. I brought this video here intentionally. For those of us that are saying, oh, 2027 election, you better be ready. It's not going to be the same. You only got 4 years to move and get it right. Let me read what David Ndeyin said on top of this. And by the way, I went and I looked for every thing that had to do with this whole thing. David Ndeyin says, good morning. If you still cannot connect all the dots by yourself and you need someone to spell out for you why certain events turn out the way they did in 2015, 2019, and 2023, then don't worry. You are not the addressable audience of this tweet. Yeah? This is what is happening. Can you imagine? We dey here, everybody they do ringa rosy. People are busy. Let me play this one. I went back to go and find out. I say, God, it's not something we don't know. Some of us already know these things, but how many power we get?
Everyone can look this up if you're listening right now. In 2021, the U.S. Special Forces perspective under Mark Milley, our chairman of the Joint Chiefs, put out an entire instruction manual for how the U.S. military can work with the State Department and our intelligence services to organize a rent-a-riot, to destabilize a country in order to bring them to the negotiating table. They gave an example of a hypothetical West African country where a member of U.S. Special Forces is on a separate mission, driving down a highway, and notices a billboard for Chinese infrastructure investment into a new port in this Western African country. The unit takes note of this billboard on a highway in Western Africa with Chinese symbols on it. They do their own investigation and figure out that this is part of a real estate development project from Chinese investors, that as part of that development project will have the construction of a Chinese naval port in this West African country, where in theory, China would then be able to project naval influence in the Atlantic Ocean. What the Special Forces Guide calls for is coordination with the State Department, coordination with our intelligence services, coordination with our psychological operations unit to take all of our assets in that West African region. And in that case, what they did is they planned to work with the unions. What they did is they embarked in a social media influence campaign. They would activate all their media assets, all of their civil society institutional assets, and all of their union assets to have the union labor pool in that West African country. Well, actually, there was one thing that happened first, is they first then went, in this hypothetical, the State Department sent a delegation to persuade the West African country to forbid the development license to the Chinese developer. And the head of that West African government said no. Because something was happening in the hypothetical in the next 30 days, there was a time sensitivity to generate an instability event to stop this using time-sensitive emergency. And so the way they generated that was they worked with their union contacts in the region and the media contacts in the region and created this whole social media campaign to inflame the sentiments of the West African labor union workforce who were working for Chinese companies at the time. Because in this hypothetical, the Chinese mining firms and Chinese industry was employing a lot of these Africans. And it was to destabilize the country, to bring the mines, to bring the factories, to bring all of the Chinese production in the region to a halt, and to put all these Africans out of jobs, and to bring the African government effectively to a standstill. At the same time, in their own Special Forces manual, it called for support from USAID to provide these same striking miners alternative jobs, so that while they were striking from the Chinese labor companies, they were still getting paid by U.S. taxpayers. So they were financially bribed effectively to boycott Chinese industry and to devastate their own country's government, create this crisis, and then use the State Department delegation to go back to the negotiating table with the West African government and promised to end the destabilization if the development was halted. And in that hypothetical, the West African government then rejects the license for the real estate development of China, and that is declared as an unalloyed success by the U.S. Special Forces and their partner network in the State Department and intelligence. And this is the way of our diplomacy in 2021. And this is all publicly available if you look at the Special Forces prospectus. And when this goes live, I'll post this on my X account at Mike Ben Cyber, so that you can, don't take my word for it. But this is how we operate. And so I see what we're doing with these missile attacks and with these calls for our 12 CIA bases on the Russian border to be able to do long-range precision-guided strikes into Russia as maybe setting off World War III, but it may also be part of a destabilization threat that gives Russia a reason to give the territories back to Ukraine in order to stop the blood from its own main arteries.
Anyway, this will not be. This is not something that a lot of us don't already know, right? It's just we people need to hear these things. Sometimes, when you're talking in silos and you're making certain comments, and people think that, oh, you're just overreacting or whatever. You can hear it for yourself. There is nothing. You can go and do this research for yourself on Google. Heck, AI has made it easy. Ask AI, may you see information when you roll out for you. Okay, you understand? Victory, welcome. Oh, Nigerians were ready and wanted. No, I agree with you, Victory. Me, I'm not even disputing that. I know, was I not part of the whole election process? I know, right? I'm just saying, for those, people that are saying 2027 election and all of that, if you look at my community page, I said any election in 2027 that is not going to ensure that INEC, there's a complete overhaul, and that police IGP is not removed and the right person put there, and the judiciary is not fixed, I don't know what an election is going to achieve in 2027 in Nigeria. I'm not disputing that the Nigerians did not try in 2020. Was I not part of it? Eh? I'm not saying that we're way past that now, right? We're looking towards 2027. If the necessary things, a reason why I'm bringing this video here is for those of us that are saying we must, continue to talk. I mean, continue to look towards 2027 for an election and all of that. I'm saying look at what was done to ensure that you don't get the right leader. We already know this. Some of us already knew some of this information, some in more details than others. My question now to those of us that are saying 2027 election, we need to be aware of these things. We need to know that, look, for a fact, that in matter of fact, I would expect that every Nigerian now should be demanding for all NGOs, international NGOs, to be halted. I'm telling you, maybe I'm naive saying that, but this is the only way. Look at what these people, they will tell you they are coming to help you. You said, for instance, is an NGO. Look at what they achieve. Look at what they do by just having infiltration and coming into your countries and consciously or unconsciously hiring people that will be. Sometimes you see some activists, right? I remember people used to argue that some of these activists are paid, some of these activists are paid. Now I'm beginning to see the point of why they say that. Even those activists, some of them may not even know that they are working. They may not even know that they are working for these people. They will just look for somebody to plant in between to just, increase the volume of your protest. Become very radical. You'll be thinking, oh, this person is fighting my fight. Nah, you don't know, say that they use the person so that they will get their desired result. Oh, anyway, once there's life, there's hope. It is now up to us as Nigerians. All these ones will not be hide behind, oh, we did not know. We do not know. I said it. I said Nigeria. D, welcome. Oh. Good morning to you. I said na Nigerians go fit save Nigeria. No, na diasporans. Diasporans are the ones that will end up saving Africa. I dey talk this thing, they be like saying a movie. Nah, oh, I don't know what I talk. That's what it's doing. That is what it's looking more and more like every day. We have to now come up with ways to go and educate our people in the grassroots, to let them understand what's going on, to help them understand, break it down in ways that they can understand. We have a lot of work to do. We could have started this, we're 1 year late, but hey, now anytime a person wake up 9 in the morning, now that we are here, what are we going to do? What are we doing? And I said, what are we doing? I know that there are people doing work on the ground. And fortunately, there was somebody I spoke to over the weekend. Apparently, this person has been doing a lot of grassroots work. I could not believe it. I told the person to send me videos. So you guys, I'm going to be sharing videos of what is going on. For the security of the person, you're not going to see faces. You're just going to hear voices and the different communities that he visits to talk to, discuss politics and break it down to the people. Because if we're going to be fighting for those of us in Nigeria, the work they need to understand what is at stake in Nigeria. It cannot be the same way we did it. I'm very happy because we come here and we're shouting and we're saying, oh, people that should do this, people that should do that. But I found it refreshing that there's somebody, at least a number of people, who are actually doing what we've been screaming about here. It's wonderful. I'm telling you guys, they're doing the work. They're going community to community. Sensitization is going on. Community to community. I was very, very happy to hear that. I'm willing to put my own resources behind that. There's no reason why a country as wonderful as Nigeria, as blessed as Nigeria, to be going through what it's going through. There's absolutely no reason for that. So I don't know. I just wanted to bring this video here and let you guys know this is information that's just dropping. and that is that people are, everybody's talking about it right now. I'm sorry, guys. That is what I'm looking for. Um, okay. Um, this is another one I found.
Disinformation has invaded online conversations on social media platforms, posing challenges to healthy information environments and threats to democracy. It bolsters authoritarians, weakens democratic voices and participation, exploits and exacerbates existing social cleavages, and silences opposition. Countering disinformation and promoting information integrity are necessary priorities for ensuring democracy can thrive. The CEP's Countering Disinformation Guide is a resource including 9 thematic sections and a comprehensive database of interventions, highlighting various approaches for advancing information integrity and strengthening societal resilience to disinformation and other harmful online campaigns. The International Foundation for Electoral Systems, International Republican Institute, and National Democratic Institute developed this guide with support from USAID through the Consortium for Elections and Political Process Strengthening. Here are 9 key takeaways from the guide. Addressing disinformation requires a whole-of-society approach. We need to create a sense of urgency to drive collective action for addressing disinformation. Institutions and platforms have the resources to address disinformation, but lack credibility, whereas civil society has the credibility, but is chronically under-resourced. Countering disinformation requires a mixed methods approach, including fact-checking, monitoring, and other interventions. Focusing on major events like election outcomes alone will not achieve a healthy information environment. Developing norms and standards, legal and regulatory frameworks, and better social media content moderation is necessary for a healthy information ecosystem. It is important to establish frameworks to discourage political parties from engaging in disinformation. Not sure where to start? Click here to explore the Interventions database of organizations, projects, and donors working to.
So now don't hear am. The reason why I played the last video is it's going to give us an idea as Nigerians looking towards 2027, because there's no such thing as it's too we need to be gathering right now. It's gathering of information, finding better ways to achieve our goal, the main goal of getting back, our country in the trajectory it should be on, right? So I played that for a reason. There's some vital information in there that we can also utilize. We cannot continue to sleep. Oh, these people don't mean well for us. Like I've always said, and a lot of other people have said, nobody's coming to help us. We are the ones who will help ourselves. A lot of things are being exposed. A lot is being exposed. Eh? What if the Nigeria is working? A lot of people will not want to live outside of the country. See how many families have been devastated just because of Japa. Run away, you move, you go, your entire life changes. Some families don't remain the same. This Japa thing, people treat it with levity. It has a lot of there are a lot of ramifications. Not saying that there are no positives, there are positives, but when you are running or fleeing from your country as opposed to you're traveling for just for the sake of enjoyment and all of that, they're two different things. So my people, here is information for those of you that are going to be watching this video, the replay of this video. Please share your comments with me. Let me know your thoughts, because this is real, guys. This is real. As 2027 approaches, let's get it right. Let's know what we are doing. Let's know what we are doing. This is a time to be clamoring more than ever before for INEC changes, for judiciary change, for everything. We need to shake everywhere now. We need to be doing the work of really putting action into everything now. Okay? So that when we come 2027 and a candidate emerges and we throw our support behind that candidate, there's no going back. We all know what we signed up for. Enough is enough. Century after century, year after year, the same story. And then these people will do regime change, put the worst of us, and then turn around and gaslight us and say Africa cannot get it right. They are incapable of ruling themselves, just to continue that narrative. How evil can people be? How evil? Is it not time for us to have our own African social media? Look at me now, I'm broadcasting from their own social media. If they say this video no will come out, now I'm not going to waiting do. If they say I use their make as I write use settle for them, I get maybe then get people when they don't like her for this their social media platform. When you go say no, you must take down the video. I get choice. We don't have any African app. We are not even we can't even talk to ourselves. I recently joined a Red Note app. The things that I've learned on that app alone is mind-boggling. The things that I've come to, the knowledge and the things that I've come to learn. Where is African app? Where is an app for all Africans? Where is it? We better know what we are doing now. As 2027 emerges, we better know what we're doing. No room, no excuse, no excuses. That's all. If you guys want to do more research, it's there. The information is there. Go and do your more research. The information is coming out. A lot of things are being exposed. Hate Trump, love Trump. Now waiting me vote for an I they do so. Thank you very much, guys. With that, I will end this for now. Coming back later on in the day so that we can do some further discussions on let me see. I want us to talk about on the next one, we're going to be talking about how are we going to build a political party that will emerge in 2027. Whatever ideas, whatever knowledge you have, please bring it on. Okay, we're just throwing out ideas there. We have no idea for a political party. No, I don't personally. I just want to hear what people have to say. I just want to gauge and understand what the mindset and how we're going to move forward. And if we're really, because we got to be using our brain now, we got to tap within our resources, within ourselves, okay, to find out how we're going to achieve this. Perhaps the candidates that are going to emerge, whoever that candidate is going to be, right? They know what they are doing. Okay, so hopefully it's not LP. I'm sorry, guys. LP is not going to move the needle for me 2027. If I see LP come out again with Peter Obi, I'm sorry. I am very, very sorry. Like I said, I will take a backseat. There's no way LP should be allowed to even come out at all. Forget about APC, please. Forget about them. So I'm just talking. We're just gonna share ideas and talk on and give opinions on and suggest how do we build a formidable political party, because this is a time we're already 1 year late. This is the time for us to be having very strategic sessions talking about how we don't have to give out all the details online. This is just to jog people's memory, to get us to be thinking in the direction that we ought to be thinking, so that we can take that mindset with us into 2027. And when a party virtually emerges with our favored candidates, right, we can immediately jump on those parties and be poking holes and be a part of that party, not in the back seat of a wagon shouting in the front. No, we will be part of that political saying, no, this is how we want it. Nothing they happen. We drag and drag till we get it right. You understand? So that's the whole idea behind what this conversation is going to be about. Okay? So if you have any superior information, we're all here to learn from each other. Please bring it. Okay, we're going to discuss it today, later on. So, guys, exactly, Victory. Thank you very much. LP is an extension of APC, so nobody should bring LP bullshit here. I beg you, please. I'm not interested. That party is dead. It's dead, long dead, buried. We don't already, the team don't even talk to carcass. We don't need them. May they carry themselves go one side. That party is full of saboteurs. Okay? So let's get it right. May God help all of us to make we achieve. May God help us to achieve the Nigeria of our dreams so that we can start rebuilding our communities. We are stronger together, not divided though. You don't have to like me and like my tribe for us to get along, to have respect for each other. You don't have to like me. Let's have a thriving society for all of us. Then you can be talking about who you like and who you don't like, which nobody will give a damn about at that time. So, guys, thank you so much for joining me. This is supposed to be a short one. I'll come back later on. Victory, thank you very much. D, thank you very much. I appreciate you guys. I'll see you guys later. Bye.